my knitters. My name is Karen. This is Recreational Knitting, and I'm here today to talk about some summer yarns, specifically cotton linen yarns that I personally have used. There's many on the market, I'm certain, and these three that I'm going to discuss are very similar in nature, as you'll see. The first one I'm going to talk about is Belle. Many of us have seen it, heard about it, looked at it, used it, worn it, all of the things. This is my, I believe, third season into this. This is the tanker top, and I knit this, I think, 2 summers ago. I wear this probably, I wouldn't say once a week, but once every other week. So, you know, it's not a heavily used garment. Let me show you what it kind of looks like without having to stand up. Rib, garter, stockinette. So you've got 3 different gauges, the way that they lay, and it's still pretty good. And then mattress stitch for the sleeves. So that's what this yarn did for this garment. Belle, let me give you the specifics, is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. Hold on to those stats. It's important. It weighs 50 grams. This one actually is a little less than 50 grams because I used a little bit for seaming up things. It's probably about 42 grams, probably 43 grams at this point. 120 meters or 131 yards. They recommend a 4 millimeter or size 6 knitting needle, or a G6 if you're going to be crocheting. The knitting gauge is 21 stitches by 28 rows. Lots of things here. I will insert some specs towards the end of this, just so you can kind of eyeball it. This is, let me unply. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 ply. That's Belle. So it's an 8 ply yarn, not the 4 ply fingering that the UK talks about. We're just talking about how many pieces of yarn are plied together to make this particular yarn. This is listed as a DK weight, and I would say that's accurate. Okay, so 53% cotton. Let's look at the next yarn we have. This is Cecelia, and I got this from Linehobby, which I believe is a Danish company. Okay. And we'll look at the specs for that. 53% cotton, 33% viscose, 14% linen. These are the same specs as far as content. Now, that really doesn't mean anything at this point. It really doesn't. Except that they are identical according to what we have on a ball band. They are identical fibers. So let's see how many yards and meters this one is. This one for 50 grams is 110 meters. This is 120 meters. So this is a little less. Which is about maybe 14 yards difference. So if you're making a garment and you're trying to look at the cost and how much you need to make a garment, that may be a factor. This one calls for, well, it's a 28 by 21 gauge. What did I say this one was? 21 by 28 gauge. This one doesn't really tell you what needle size to use. Oh, yes, it does. 4 knitting needles. I don't see a hook on here. So this is 4, which is millimeters, 4 millimeters. All right, let's see what we've got as far as how many plies are in this. That may be the difference in meterage. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 versus 8. 8. So that means that the 1 ply is going to be lighter than the 1 ply here, which I don't know if we can see that at all. Let's see. Very difficult. Sure can't see it by the naked eye. But that may be the difference just in the meterage. Okay, these are similar in price point. I will put the actual price today, July the 12th, 2025, from where I purchased this. I purchased this Wool Warehouse in the UK. I purchased this Linda, what'd I say? Linehobby. Oh, holy moly, okay? I will put those prices at the end of this video as of today, or down here actually. And then we have a third yarn, which is Sandus Garn Line. Again, this is a 50-gram ball. It looks different the way they vaulted up, but it's about the same size if you look at it just visually. Let's see what we've got here. 53% wool, cotton, 53% cotton, 53% cotton, 53% cotton. Are you seeing a pattern here? 33% viscose, 33% viscose, 33% viscose, and 14% linen for all of them. This is produced in Norway. I'm not sure where these are produced and sourced from. I have looked, can't quite figure it out, but if I had to guess, it would be Turkey. I'm going to look one more time before I publish this, and I'll put it down here if I find out anything different as of today. All right, let's see what the let's see what we've got as far as meterage. 110 meters, which is the same as this. Drops is 130. Okay. This is calling for 4 millimeter, 4 millimeter, 4 millimeter, or US 6. This is, it's interesting how each country puts this on here, but the gauge for this is 20. And this is 21. For row, but they don't tell you that I can see what your gauge across would be. Now, I don't see it anywhere. Doesn't mean it's not on here because, you know, some of this is in Norwegian, but I'm doing the best I can as far as the little, you know, icons. Yeah, so what can we determine? It says use wool detergent, avoid the wash bag in the Sandus garn, and fabric softener. Wash the garments separately. This gives, the one from Linehobby, gives you no wash instructions, except that it is washable by the little icon, it's washable by machine. Drops, let's see, does it give us any washing instructions? It does not. Oh, here in the drops, it says it's made in the EU. So, is Turkey in the EU? I think it is. So, anyway, I'll do a little more research and see if I can figure out anything from that. But what I'm trying to get at is these are all identical in the fiber content. Belle, Cecelia, and Line. This is made in Norway. We're not sure of where these are, except this is in the EU. I would say that they're all made in, those both are made in Turkey. Now, those of you that have attempted to buy or make or whatever, looked at, shopped for this line, Line, it's about double what these are. Now, labor costs, that's likely the difference, in my humble opinion. This is made in Norway. So you've got a reasonable wage for workers. I could be lying, but that is likely what's going on here. And these are made in countries that may not provide with living wages for people who are working in a fiber mill. Now, that said, ethically, you do what you want to do. I'm not here to preach or whatever. What I wanted to do today was to show you that fiber content is identical. And there are many of us that are on budgets, and particularly with cotton and summer garments. I like to, you know, I always used to think of summer clothing as fairly disposable, because after a season, you sweat in it, you play harder, you're outside, you get grass stains, it's more disposable as a summer garment. I'm not saying that this would be disposable, but that's, in my mind, how I think about summer clothing in general. So, you know, you're putting all this work into it, and you're probably going to have a garment for many seasons, but do you want to spend double for Sandus garn versus the other two? Well, let's look at some samples that I knit up. Now, I apologize for my samples because they're tiny and they all still are attached to yarn that I want to use and that I may or may not have enough of anyway to make the garments that I want. All right, same needle, the same needle. This is what I got from the drops. It is, by the way, exactly what they're asking for tension on a size 6 needle. This is the Cecelia from Linehobby. And this is the Sandus garn. If I told you what those were, would you be able to tell the difference? Maybe in a garment, but they are all the same gauge. When I line them up, there's those two, they are the same gauge. When I put the drops, they are the same gauge. So, what did we learn? Same fibers, perhaps the same mill, fair wages perhaps, cheaper, more expensive. It's your decision. But I thought I would just compare these 3 particular yarns since I have used them and know a little bit about how they knit up. Are they the same? That's up to you. I hope you've learned something from this today. If you have, thumbs up, subscribe, all the things. I'd like to do a few more of these. So try to support the channel, and doesn't cost anything to subscribe. I rarely ask for that, but it would help. I hope you enjoyed looking at different cotton linen yarns. Knit in peace.